to understand where we are. We are living in a matrix. And we got to make a choice. We got to make a choice to either take the red pill, which will lead us to awareness, or take the blue pill, which will put us back into ignorance. But we got to make a choice. And even if you don't choose, you've made a choice. You can't afford to be lazy. Can't afford to think that this doesn't relate to me, because everything affects you. If it's happening on your block, it affects you. So we've got to begin to understand that we are living in a media control matrix, and that our senses, our brain determines how our senses operate. And without our sense of sight, sound, touch, smell, taste, our brain would be a prisoner. So this is the organ that connects us to reality. And when somebody plays with that organ, you're going to get confusion. You're going to get the confusion that we see and have been seeing for far too long. And the reality is, as we talked about earlier, the reality is that the average person uses less than 5% of their brain power throughout their lifetime. That's unacceptable. And that is equal to a person being awake 1 hour a day, but for black folk it's less than that. That's unacceptable. But yet, I don't hear anybody talking about it. I don't hear any of our leaders moving us in another direction. I don't hear any of our teachers addressing this issue. I don't hear any of our preachers giving us a new way. It's like this is all there is. There's nothing we can do about it. Just go along with the program and don't complain. Because as soon as you express your displeasure, you're a hater. But we're talking about reality. One aspect of reality that has to be addressed. So the issue is thinking. So old funkadelic concept, think. It ain't illegal yet. There's a sister there with a funkadelic t-shirt. Sister, you want to stand up and show everybody a t-shirt? Absolutely. Funkadelic. What's on the back of your shirt? Free your mind and your behind will follow. Free your mind first, and everything else will follow. But if your mind ain't free, you will never be free. All right? We're going to get to the break in a minute. I'm running up. All right. So then, we have to begin to realize that we have to practice homeland security and protect our mental borders. And we have to be sensitive about what we allow into our minds. You shouldn't allow just anybody and anything to come into your most precious possession. We've got to treat ourselves better. And so the reality is that we're coming to terms with is that the world is changing, but are we ready to live in a changing world? Got to ask that question. Do you know this man? Mark Zuckerberg. Looks like a chump, doesn't he? If y'all saw him walking down the street, y'all probably kick his behind, take his money. Huh? Looks like a chump. Well, not you all, but you know what I mean. He's the founder of Facebook, and he is Time Magazine's Man of the Year. They designated him Man of the Year because his creation, his thoughts, affected more people in 2010 than any other person on the planet. So what did this young man do? He was a 19-year-old sophomore at Harvard in 2004 when he created Facebook. And by 2010, 550 million people were Facebook members. We're talking about 1 out of every 12 people on the planet are using his creation right now. Facebook membership grows at a rate of 700,000 people a day. This is incredible. It's happening right now on our watch. If Facebook were a country, it would be the 3rd largest country after China and India. And to top it all off, this young man, Zuckerberg, is 26 years old. He has a net worth of $6 billion. 26-year-old, the net worth of $6 billion. And guess what kind of car he drives? Guess what kind of clothes he wears? All right? And I just heard on the radio today, on NPR today, I like listening to NPR because they're a great source for information. Facebook is now worth $500 billion. So his story has been the subject of a new film called Social Media. It's a film that many critics are saying is the #1 film of 2010, and it will win Academy Awards. It will win Academy Awards. Now I want you to imagine how young white males are going to feel, particularly young white Jewish males are going to feel watching this film. Seeing someone who looks like them change the world. They're going to see his story and say, if he can do it, what? I can do it. They've got living proof. So the interesting thing about Zuckerberg is that he was born in 1984. And he is part of the last generation of human beings that will remember life before the internet. Because kids that are born now will never realize what you old folks are talking about when you said that you lived in the world before the internet, before remotes, before cell phones. They'll look at you like you were Fred Flintstone. So it's important for us to understand the profound impact that his creation, his invention, something that sprang from his mind, is having on the world, but more importantly, what it's having on people who are living in Africa today. Right now, in the December 2010 issue of African Renewal magazine, which is published by the United Nations Department of Public Information, one of the stories that they featured is the social media boom that is taking place in Africa right now. And they talked about some stats that most of us aren't aware of, but knowing this information allows us to prepare for what is coming down the pike. Africans have more than 400 million mobile phone subscribers, and they are leading the world in mobile phone uses. As the world shifts from landline phones to mobile phones, Africa is leading the world with triple-digit growth rates. So let's see where this is going. Very soon, the mobile internet will replace the fixed internet. And Africans will be in the forefront of this coming revolution. And when Africans go online, many of them spend most of their time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Did you know that 20% of all people on the planet who use Twitter are people of African ancestry? 20%. We're using these medias. And in 2009, 10 million Africans were on Facebook. By the end of 2010, they had over 17 million. The numbers doubled in 1 year. And the reality is we are a social people. And we are culturally hardwired to use social media. It's in us. So how are we going to use it for our benefit?
Just take a good look at me. Tell me, do you like what you see? Been a rebel from the start, and that Turner in my heart just agree to disagree. Live a life full of discipline. Try to keep the ego out, not in. It's a battle every day. Gotta struggle for my soul if I wanna be born again. We fall down, let's get up. Throw that drink up out the cup. Take your chin and hold it up. Evil thoughts, burn them up. Pump your fist, hold it up.